How's it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to the Bear Down Podcast, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, we have the segment of three key matchups as we look ahead to the Saints game on Sunday, this Wildcard playoff game. It's going to be a really good one, but I am joined by my co-hosts, Jaylen and Parth. My name is Zach Rimbos. I'm the head editor and video producer, here at Bear Down. Jaylen and Parth, how you guys doing, though?
I'm doing pretty good. Just relaxing on Thursday, I guess. 2 more weeks till school start. I think 3 days till our game, 2 games till the other playoff games too. So just excited for the super wild card weekend. Lots of games, lots of football. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, same here. The Bulls are playing well, even though we lost yesterday, but they've been playing I wouldn't say extremely well, but they're looking better than the last couple seasons. We got playoff football on Saturday. I can't wait to watch the wild card games. We obviously play on Sunday, so I have a couple games before I actually have to watch the Bears play, and that's an exciting weekend for me, especially since this is my last week before I go back to school. So it's just definitely gonna be a fun and exciting weekend for sports in general.
If you weren't able to catch the other podcast, I am in school. I am completely exhausted. I was telling Parth and Jaylen before this. I'm going to hit it right after this episode here, take a nap because I am completely exhausted. But we're going to get straight into this one so I can do so. So I'm going to pass off to Jaylen here. We have our first matchup of the game. In order for us to beat these New Orleans Saints, this 12-4 team, obviously not a team to take lightly, but it is the playoffs, so you can't take us lightly either. So, Jaylen, why don't you kick us off here for our first matchup of this game?
So for the offensive matchup is establishing a run for David Montgomery. Now, the Saints do have a very good run defense. They allow their top 5 in run defense, averaging just over 90 yards a game in total. So if we can establish a run, I've said this multiple times. I'm pretty sure Zach and Parth can agree that David Montgomery has been one of the main reasons why we've been scoring 30 points plus. Last week, if you look at his average yards per carry, he was only like 3.1, but he still had over 69 yards. He had our only touchdown of the game coming in the first quarter. After who knows what type of injury he was going through, but we thought he possibly could have been done for the game. A couple snaps later, he came back in and gained a first down and got the touchdown. So last time he played the Saints, he did have 89 yards. He had 21 attempts, had a 4.2 average, and he did have a touchdown and 26-23 loss to the Saints. So if we can establish a run game, which will allow the passing game to get open for Mitch, I definitely think that can help us. Me and Parth was mainly talking about this the last time they played the Eagles. When the Eagles played the Saints, the Eagles were using a lot of RPO with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts, who's a very mobile quarterback, and that led them to a win. Now, they did have Taysom Hill at quarterback, and we're going up against Drew Brees, so that might be a difference maker. But for the defense, Saints-wise, if we can use what the Eagles did, I definitely think that can help us in the win as long as our defense can be on track. But Mitchell is not Jalen Hurts. He hasn't ran the ball as many as Jalen Hurts has, and Mitchell started I want to say 4 more games than Jalen Hurts did in total season. He has almost over 100 more rushing yards than Mitchell does. So if we can try to use that game plan, tire the Saints defense out, tire that pass rush out, the linebackers, they have a very good front seven with Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, and a couple more guys here and there. I definitely feel like we can score points on offense.
Parth, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the next segment here for matchup?
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm just going to add a little bit to Jaylen. But, yeah, we definitely have to establish the run game. I think it opens the game up for Mitch Trubisky. He's been playing well the last couple of weeks because David Montgomery's been playing well. David Montgomery, like Jaylen said, is the reason why the Bears, surged into the playoffs. Him playing better has helped the Bears. So, I think you got to lean on him, especially in a playoff game. But, yeah, for the defensive matchup, it's quite obvious. The Bears have to get pressure on Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of the quarterbacks of all time. This could be his last run as the quarterback. So, which is sad to see, especially because I loved watching Drew Brees grow up watching Drew Brees. He's a great quarterback. But for the Bears to win this game, we got to get to the quarterback. It's simple. Drew Brees likes to get the ball out quick. But if we can, disturb him a little bit, get a couple sacks on him, maybe even force a fumble, I think it helps the Bears a lot. Drew Brees is a very, I'd say, I wouldn't say system quarterback now, but he's become very limited. He can't throw the ball as deep anymore. Him and Michael Thomas cannot connect on those deep balls. He's throwing the ball a lot more to Alvin Kamara. Kamara was their biggest had the most receiving yards on the team because of a reason. A lot of check downs. So you got to get that early pressure on Drew Brees, make him uncomfortable. He does not run the ball as much, so you can, he won't leave the pocket. You don't have to worry about that. Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Robert Quinn, those three guys, I would say, kind of have disappointed this year, at least sack total wise. We expected a lot more sacks out of all those three guys. I think we were making, earlier in the season, we're talking 30 sacks combined for those three. They combined for almost, I think they got 15 sacks combined this year, which sucks. Not even, basically half the production that we expected. Khalil Mack definitely needs to show up. It's where big time players make big time plays, and that's what he is. We pay him that big money for that big reason. I think for him to come out and set the tone early, and hopefully Chuck Pagano, does do 3-man rushes and actually tries to go after the quarterback, because disturbing Drew Brees will definitely help the Bears, I feel like.
Yeah, you also want to get pressure on Drew Brees because he's not throwing as deep as he was earlier in his career. Obviously, like you said, he's been worn down a little bit. He has that rib injury, which is still hurting him to this day, I'm sure. So he's still recovering from that. He's not going to be throwing it very deep. If you watched, I think it was the Vikings game, Vikings versus Saints on Christmas, you could tell that was his first game back. You could tell it was hurting him a lot. He was trying to throw deep to Jared Cook once on one play. He threw it up to Jared Cook, and it was severely underthrown. And that's a result of his rib injury. But I do want to talk about the overarching need for this team to be able to beat the Saints this weekend. Before we get into that, I wanted to talk about the injury report very quickly, because that's going to be just as important for us, the injury report. Darnell Mooney did not practice in today's practice, as well as Cordero Patterson busted a screen again. Roquan Smith is still out with that elbow injury. We're not sure if he's going to, is usually like a couple of weeks at minimum to recover from. So hopefully he recovers quickly and we can make a run here for him to see the playoffs. But also we have Duke Shelley was limited today in today's practice. Josh Woods is limited as well. And new on the injury report, which he was full yesterday, but it was just a walkthrough in Wednesday's practice, is Allen Robinson. He did not practice today, and they alluded that injury to a hamstring injury. We're not sure what the details of that are. It may have been just a resting day. So we still are waiting for the information on that. But those are going to be really, really important things to look over, especially Darnell Mooney, who secured that spot as wide receiver 2, and Allen Robinson, who's obviously wide receiver number 1. So we need him to be able to play this game. For the Saints, you also have to look. Michael Thomas is returning to practice in limited fashion at this point, and he could be ramping up to see the Bears this Sunday. And so we're going to have to look out for that as well, because if they do have him back, even with Taysom Hill at quarterback, even with that injury that he had where they put him on IR earlier in the season, he still was putting up pretty good production. And that was with Drew Brees out, like I was saying. So we'll have to look out for that. But like Parth was saying, Alvin Kamara is going to be the main focus in this game regardless. There's so many things that he can do. He's a versatile back. He's deadly in the passing and the rushing game. And, our defense has been suffering severely in the passing game recently. The run defense is not as poor, but, this team is still, I'd say, barely top 15 right now in defense, and they've been on the down. But you just have to stop Alvin Kamara. So that's going to be the overarching factor in this game. That matchup is just stopping Alvin Kamara. We saw against the Vikings that 6-touchdown game where he ties Gil Sayers' record for the most touchdowns in a single game by a running back. But we're just going to have to stop him. That's the overarching key. But other than that, this is going to be a great matchup. I'm excited to see. We had Nick Foles in last time, and we kept up with them very well. They were missing a few pieces as well, but this is playoff football, so it's going to be a very different scenario this time around. But I'm excited to see what happens. We didn't have Montgomery putting up the amount of yards that he's putting up now, so you're going to have to look out for that as well. And I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm really, really excited about it. I'm sure they both are as well, and I'm sure most Bears fans are as well. If you're a true Bears fan, you want to see them go out and put up some great numbers. I did see a graphic today. I just thought this was interesting. The most or the hardest schedule, the strength of schedule, they ranked the Bears as the hardest schedule in the playoffs during the regular season. They had the hardest regular season schedule among any playoff team, is what it said. We are ninth in the entire league. So I'm not saying I'm not saying that means anything, but I'm just saying I think that you can expect that this Bears team is going to come out. They know they're underdogs in this game. The 8-8 team, that nobody's thinking of them highly, much like the Washington football team is. So you're gonna have to look out for those two teams, man. I'm really excited for this game, but that'll pretty much do it for us, guys. I'm really excited for this matchup. Jaylen and Parth, you guys got any last words?
Yeah, like you said, you got to stop Alvin Kamara. That guy's a game changer. He can do anything at any time. It's going to be tough. You can't really stop him. You got to limit him at the end of the day. That's what you got to do. It's going to be tough without Roquan Smith. I doubt he plays. Hopefully Darnell Mooney comes back. I think, with him in the lineup, it helps the Bears, especially because we don't have Tariq Cohen, so you need some speed in the lineup with Darnell. But yeah, it's a playoff game on Sunday. I'm excited. I'm nervous. It's almost there, but bear down. Let's get ready for another playoff game.
Just a couple things. So, like you're talking about Darnell, obviously before last week, Darnell's career high was against the Saints. With he had a 50-yard bomb. So his speed will definitely help us if we can get him back. And then with Drew Brees, like you said, he's coming off. He's still, obviously affected by that rib injury. He threw, I think he threw 2 interceptions or 3 interceptions against the Vikings, and the Vikings have a terrible defense. So, that's one of the main reasons why Alvin Kamara had 6 rushing touchdowns, that Drew Brees just wasn't playing well, so they kept feeding the ball to Alvin Kamara, and it was working. So he obviously played better last week, but he was going up against another bad defense in the Panthers. So this will probably be the best defense he's played since he's came back, and our defense hasn't played that well, I want to say since the middle of the season. But I definitely feel like we still have a lot of playmakers on that defense. But this is going to be a long week for a lot of Bears fans. A lot of Bears fans don't want us to be in this position, and I don't understand why. You don't want to see your favorite team in the playoffs. But Bears playoffs is back. It's been a year. It's just a crazy year that you see us at 8-8 in the playoffs. Something that never happens almost. So I'm just excited to see the Bears play some football, and that's about it.
Yeah, so that'll pretty much do it for us, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new here to the channel, go ahead and go down below, hit that subscribe button. We post Bears videos every day of the week. Some more content for you guys leading up to this game, and I'm certain that we're going to be live streaming, at least the 3 of us. Hopefully Chris will be able to join us, but at least the 3 of us will be live streaming that game, hopefully, because obviously this is a huge game. Being able to record and live stream during a playoff game is not something that you should pass up an opportunity on, because Bears aren't in the playoffs that much. But I'm really excited, man. This could be seriously, this is redeeming for the Chicago Bears. So, a lot of people have been counting them out. A lot of people have been talking trash. Social media in general has been counting out the Chicago Bears, and this is their chance to prove everybody wrong. Khalil Mack understands that there's been a lot of disrespect, as well as Eddie Jackson, and both of them are going to have to step their games up this week. This is not, you can talk all you want, but it really just matters to come down to production on the field. So, this will be a good one, but thank you guys very much for tuning in. Once again, my name is Zach Rimbos. I'm the head editor and video producer here at Bear Down. And thank you to Jaylen and Parth for joining, but stay safe, everybody. Make sure to bear down, and we'll see you later.